Welcome back to the Home Depot Center, everybody. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Shep Messing for another episode of Extra Time from MLS Cup. It's Saturday afternoon. The sun is out and shining again, Shep. Not so bad, is it, right? Today we're going to be looking at some of the news and notes going on around the league, and we're going to start with some of the announcements that Don Garber made yesterday in his commissioner's press conference. We'll start first off with one of the biggest topics all season long, the scheduling conflicts with the international dates. Don Garber said that there will be 2 dates this year, or possibly a reduced schedule across the league, and 4 dates to accommodate for international games.
Yeah, Greg, I think Don Garber and the league, Ivan Gazidis, did a good job. They were proactive about it. Obviously, fans were upset this year when some of their teams were missing key players. We've talked about Toronto losing 9 players for one game, but losing key players on dates when the U.S. was playing international games that counted as well as the other.
But what I understand is, why can't they just go all the way and just say all international dates, no MLS games?
Well, I'll tell you why, because we're sitting in sunny California and we play this sport in America,
right,
where we don't have the same luxury that the rest of the world has. So they've added by starting the season a little bit earlier. The opening day will be March 21st,
right,
so try and spread it out, try and accommodate as many dates as possible. The other problem, it's a pleasant problem, there are more and more quality players in Major League Soccer. That's why we're losing not just the U.S. players, but teams, players to teams all over the world. So they did the best they can to address it now.
Well, that's a good point about all the players that are going to their national teams that are now in MLS. Now, part of this conversation about international dates, of course, is roster size. And there was a change in the roster starting for 2009. Teams will now have a smaller roster, a smaller group of developmental players. That'll go down to 4 from 8. And they will be allowed to choose whether they want to have 18 senior roster members, 19 senior roster members, or 20. They will still use the same salary cap, though, so that will allow a team to say, we only want 18, and we're going to put more money into our 18.
Yeah, it's, they're trying to solve it, Greg, but you and I talked about it. That actually, I think, punishes a little bit the teams that are playing in CONCACAF
I think I agree.
or Superliga. So they may think, yes, we have to sign the additional players, but that's going to dilute the rest of our roster. So it's a tough balancing act. They've also, part and parcel with this move, done away with the reserve league because that was costing too much money. They'll keep the youth development system, no more regular organized reserve league play.
Well, they can put that money from the reserve into the youth development, hopefully, and create a couple more players coming out of that youth development. Now, you mentioned Superliga and CONCACAF Champions League. Another rule change for 2009, the top 4 teams that make CONCACAF Champions League will not have to play in Superliga, so it'll be the next 4 after that, also including in the CCL, you have the U.S. Open Cup winner and the Supporters Shield winner, MLS Cup winner, and the MLS Cup runner-up as well.
So that's a great move. I mean, we talked about too many games, too many competitions, teams like Houston, teams like DC United. They've solved that problem. You could play in one, you can't play in the other. U.S. Open is different. I mean, it's
everyone will still play in the U.S. Open Cup.
Right, but when it comes to CONCACAF or Superliga, one or the other.
And that's where the big travel comes in, too. You have to travel down to Trinidad, or you have to go down to Mexico. That adds to it all as well. So I think it's a great move to get rid of that. Now, there is some expansion news going on this week. We learned a couple of things, didn't we? Let's start off with Albert Pujols, the slugger for the St. Louis Cardinals, putting his name, joining the ownership group for St. Louis.
Well, this guy is great in terms of hitting the baseball, and his name is great in the St. Louis marketplace, but unless he writes a big check, my understanding is the problem in St. Louis is not name recognition, it's really financing. It's a fertile place for a soccer franchise, great history, everything except the money. Pujols can't hurt, but, let him write a check.
Well, if he writes that check, he also has tremendous goodwill in the St. Louis community, so that'll help maybe get the government and some other business leaders into that bid as well. Other expansion news, Miami, FC Barcelona, they're part of this deal. We're hearing that they're selling already. About 1,200 season ticket licenses have been sold. It's looking more and more like Miami's going to get a team.
Greg, we had Mark Abbott on the show, president of Major League Soccer, to make his announcement of the 7 candidate cities. I really thought Barcelona was on the outside looking in. They picked up momentum. There's a buzz in the hotel here over MLS Cup weekend. They're lobbying the right people. They have sold season tickets. I'm not comfortable with them playing at a college stadium, but I think their bid is picking up momentum.
What about the market in Miami? We've talked about it before a little bit, but do you really think that there's a soccer market in Miami? It's a long time been, Cuban, Dominican. Those are baseball fans.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. I think the demographics have changed dramatically. You start with the influx of Brazilian population. Colombian, Peru, always had the Caribbean, Haiti. So I think the soccer audience is there, but that's another market where you better get it right. You better do it the right way.
Well, the last part of expansion news is that Montreal has pulled their bid out. Perhaps one of the first indications that the economic downturn is having an effect on the soccer world. It's too bad for Montreal. I was looking forward to going up there and hitting St. Catherine Street.
I got to cancel some. I bought 6 round-trip tickets. I love Montreal, but we talked about tough economic times. Don Garber addressed it during this weekend at MLS Cup. At some of the meetings, he said it's a challenge.
Yeah.
So sports are usually a little bit insulated, but Major League Soccer is going to be very careful and prudent how they go about business.
Well, enough of this business stuff. Let's get to the players. Also this week, we learned that Landon Donovan of the Los Angeles Galaxy is looking to go on loan to Bayern Munich. This is a trend. We already saw David Beckham going on loan to AC Milan. Cuauhtemoc Blanco from Chicago, now going to Santos Laguna down in Mexico. What's up with all the loans?
Well, I'm going to first make it official. I love Landon Donovan, and I've been all over the place.
That's the first time you're making that?
No, I've been all over the place, but I really like him, and I think this is. I don't like these loans. I don't like them at all. For the Galaxy, they're 10-week loans. So Beckham goes to Milan, Landon Donovan goes to Bayern Munich for 10 weeks. Landon wants to go there. Write the check, buy him. I know he's going to be expensive.
How much do you think he would cost? How much is Landon Donovan?
Look, what he has going for him is Josie Altidore with nothing. I mean, nothing. A great
$10 million.
Potential $10 million. Based on that, Landon's worth $20 million at least. The problem is he's only got 1 year left on his contract with the Galaxy. So if you're Bayern Munich, you could say, you know what, we'll wait it out.
Well, if he gets over to Bayern, I actually think he'll do very well. Jurgen Klinsmann, an old friend of his from LA. Martin Vasquez, a former assistant coach with the Galaxy, also there now as an assistant coach. So we'll see what happens there. And of course, Blanco down at Santos Laguna. That's kind of interesting. Back in Mexico, he is a hero there. Well, that's all we have for this episode, but Extra Time will be here all weekend long, as you know. Later on this afternoon, we're going to put up a show talking about New York and what they need to do to win.
Yeah, it's an exciting weekend. We talk Columbus. We're going to talk to New York. Eventually, we're going to get some predictions.
Yeah, well, come on back and join us.